All right, switching gears here, we are joined once again with Greg Remmenga for some more free legal advice. How are you doing today?
Doing great. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. Today we're talking about switching gears from what we've been talking about for the last several weeks and focusing on workers' comp and how it's related to personal injury.
Well, we've talked about workers' comp several times, and if you're injured at work and it's the fault of you, a fellow employer, or your employee or your employer, that's the exclusive remedy. You can only go through the workers' comp system.
Okay.
You can't sue the fellow employee for the negligence. You can't sue your employer for the negligence.
Okay.
But a lot of times, workers' comp and the personal injury side mix if you're at work and you're hurt by somebody that's not an employee or the employer.
Interesting.
For example, you're on a news story. You're driving around and somebody not related to the station runs a red light and hits you.
Okay.
Because you're at work, you have a workers' comp claim. You can go through the whole workers' comp system, get treated by the workers' comp doctors, get the workers' compensation payments, the wage loss, all the benefits of the workers' comp system.
Sure.
But at the same time, you do have a claim against the negligent third party.
Right.
So those two have to intermingle and you kind of make sure that they mix. How do you make sure the workers' comp, you're getting the best care that's going to translate to a personal injury claim?
Right.
Because the standards are a little bit different. Are you getting a workers' comp definition of your maximum medical improvement, or are we translating that to a personal injury type definition? We also have, are you getting compensated from the workers' comp for your wage loss? How does that translate for what we can claim in the personal injury side of things? And then the workers' comp, because they shouldn't have had to pay for it because it was the negligence of a third party, they are entitled to get reimbursed. So the two systems have to be merged, and you kind of have to work through the intricacies of both systems to make sure that you're getting full workers' comp benefits and not delaying your personal injury and not you're ending some of those rights.
Right. Okay. So is that a very sloppy process to kind of work through both of those and get what I guess you were earned without I guess messing that up?
It is a sloppy process because, for one, you don't have to prove negligence in the workers' comp, but you do in the personal injury, and you have to try to merge the two.
So very interesting stuff, and not easy to handle on your own, I'm certain of that. No. So if you have any questions, and if possibly you're in that situation, feel free to give Greg a call with that number right there on your screen. We'll be right back with your full forecast after the break.
If you want Greg to answer one of your legal questions, visit krextv.com, click on Live in the Studio, and submit your question on the right side of the screen. Watch Greg's segment every Wednesday on News Channel 5 at noon.
All right, switching gears here, we're joined once again with Greg Remmenga for some more free legal advice. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
We're going to talk kind of in generalizations today about what exactly an attorney can do for you. Of course, we've kind of talked about some of the specifics, but we're going to kind of summarize all of that for you.
Right. Every week I've been trying to break down some of the things that happen in a legal case, and those things that I've been breaking down are the reasons you need an attorney. In general, you have several elements that you have to prove in order to be successful in a personal injury claim. You have to know what type of insurance and how the insurance company is talking from the person that caused the accident. You have to be able to prove that they caused the accident. Did a jury believe that the person didn't act as a reasonable person? Number two, you have to prove that your injuries were caused by the accident and not caused by something else. One of the next things you have to prove is how much is that worth. In order to do that, we have to do a lot of the things we've been talking about. So in general, the attorney helps you prove what caused the accident. Did they breach their duty? The attorney's going to know how to prove that. The next thing, we've talked about medical care.
Yes.
In order to prove your case, we have to prove how the accident actually hurt you. In order to do that, we have to get you the proper medical care. We have to get you to MMI, show how this accident hurt you, how it's going to affect you in the future. All of those things that we've talked about as far as medical care go to prove that the accident caused your injuries. The next thing we have to prove is how it affected you. We talked about economic damages, non-economic damages, how the accident affected you as an individual,
Sure.
as opposed to the public in general.
Right.
How your job is affected different by the injury than somebody else's job. All of those things go into proving how much, the amount of damages. So all of these things we've been talking about, that's why you need an attorney, is to show each one of these elements, get through each one of the steps of the elements, get you healed,
Yes,
so
yes.
we can prove these things.
Yes.
So in general, that's
Yes.
the issue.
So basically, an attorney's job is to get your ducks in a row, so to speak. So
Well,
get
to get,
everything in line.
absolutely, get your ducks in a row and be able to prove the specific elements that are required by law in order to be successful.
Absolutely. So very important steps that really, just a common person doesn't necessarily know how to do. So that's
Absolutely.
why the attorney is so necessary. So if you have any questions for Greg, feel free to give him a call with that number right there on your screen, or visit GregRemmenga.com. We'll have your full forecast coming up right after the break.
If you want Greg to answer one of your legal questions, visit KREXTV.com, click on Live in the Studio, and submit your question on the right side of the screen. Watch Greg's segment every Wednesday on News Channel 5 at noon.